a whisper.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
I just saw street parking at
What's the problem?
I've been abducted.
What would you do if you were taken and your abductor was asleep beside you? Hopefully you'd bravely follow this heroic woman's lead. She made the most of this opportunity to call police. Despite the risk involved, the Ohio woman told dispatchers in a whisper that she was in the bedroom of an abandoned house being held captive by 40-year-old Sean Great. She begged them to come find her. She was hesitant to attempt an escape in fear that she would wake her captor.
Is there any way you can get out of the building?
I don't know without waking him, and I'm scared.
Is there a bathroom in the house?
Well, his bedroom is closed, and he made it so it would make noise.
Luckily, the young woman was successful in leading police to the home, where he was arrested and charged with abduction. The woman had befriended Sean a month prior, after which this happened. Even more horrifying, this woman likely escaped an even more horrific fate, as 2 more women were found on the property, and Great eventually led police to a 3rd. If it wasn't for her grit and determination to live, this monster might have gone on to take the lives of many more. Number 14. Unwelcome guests. This scary 911 call found an unlikely hero in a 7-year-old. Carlos was just a kid when he dialed 911 in March of 2010 to report that 3 armed men had entered into his home in Norwalk, California. The door that the men breached was unlocked at the time, and the men threatened the boy's parents, which is when Carlos hid himself and his sister in a bathroom as he called authorities. In the phone call, he begged for the police to hurry, and the dispatcher quickly delivered them, all the while calming the frightened children.
Really fast, spring, oh God, a lot of them.
Listen to me, take a deep breath. I already have the police coming.
I'm ready to go too.
Despite the men finding Carlos and his sister hiding, the young boy stayed on the phone and told the men that the police were on the line. The cowards then fled, without harming anyone or taking anything. Carlos's heroism was astonishing to police. How did he know what to do in such a crisis? Carlos and his mother had run emergency drills involving what to do in just such an event, a lesson perhaps many families should heed. Number 13. Halloween. You wouldn't think that a harmless, scary movie would lead to actual, real-life horror, but when 17-year-old Jake Evans watched Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween, he turned into a monster. In a gated community in Aldeo, Texas, Evans became Mike Myers. There, he took the lives of both his mother and his younger sister. He originally planned to take the lives of his grandparents who lived across the street, as well as 2 other sisters, but instead he went into the living room to dial 911 and confess his horrific actions. During the 911 call, Evans very calmly explained to the dispatcher what he did and why, calling himself evil, but then goes on to say whatever.
Okay, is there any reason that you were so angry at your mother and your sister?
I don't know. I wasn't. It's weird. I wasn't even really angry with them. It just kind of happened.
His entire written confession ran 4 pages long and detailed the motive for his actions. He claimed that his family members were becoming people he hates. He is said to have not been mentally ill prior to or during the event. In his confession, he wrote that after he took their lives, he ran to his room and yelled at the top of his lungs that he was really messed up. He wrote that he thought about the pain he caused his sister, but then justified his actions by remembering the pain she caused him. One day he may learn that none of this was justified. Number 12. No brakes. Imagine you're driving down the road with your entire family when you realize your brakes are out. That's what happened to a family of 4 while driving down a motorway in San Diego County. One of the passengers of the runaway vehicle, Chris Lestrella, called 911 to inform the dispatcher that the accelerator of their Lexus was stuck. During the call, which lasted 50 seconds. The dispatcher asked Chris if the car could be turned off at speeds that topped out at 120 miles per hour, with passengers praying in the back seat. The last thing heard on the disturbing call is a woman's scream.
We're approaching the intersection.
Okay.
We're approaching the intersection. Hold on. Pray.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. Hello?
The driver was a California Highway Patrol officer, while the other 3 passengers were his wife, her brother, and the couple's daughter. Investigators believe that the rubber floor mat may have trapped the accelerator. It remained unclear whether the Lexus was malfunctioning, so that the driver couldn't shift into neutral or power it off. These terrifying last moments of this family's life are truly haunting. Number 11. Soul Plane Survivor. When a helicopter malfunctioned in New Mexico, miraculously one of the passengers survived. This is her 911 call.
Ma'am, stop yelling. Tell me where you're at.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. There's a big fire.
After reaching the dispatcher, Andra Cobb managed to describe the nightmare that spread before her. She herself was covered in gasoline, while 2 other passengers, the pilot Jamie